Okay, next we're going to hear from Roxanne Bash. Roxanne, come on up.
Okay, this is not eating.
Would you mind?
So rather than read you the poems I wrote after losing the world I thought I knew on Tuesday night, I decided to instead read you a poem for and about somebody that I admire. So this is for and about Christopher Luna. He gives me poems. I gobble them up, relish the rainbow of emotions I write. Through each telling, I reach the page end and I flip it over. How stingy he is, I think, as I stare at a blank page. 4 poems and a snippet is all I get. My appetite is large for metaphors and merriment, for politics and practical advice, for news from the sage and the silly. I am furious at being left wanting. I read each one again, dreaming, licking my fingers. How generous he is, I think, as I turn the page over to make room for another poem.
Thank you. Hello. Is that right? I won't get it. I can't. Okay. I'll do my best here. This is going to be our last reader before our features. I have 2 friends and colleagues that are going to read for you tonight. I'm very, very excited. So let's welcome Karen Reed. Karen.
Toni, you have way more than 2 friends reading tonight.
Well, feature.
So I was going to read my Vancouver Rainku haikus, which are so sweet and happy, and I just wasn't there. So I continued with the haiku theme, because once you start writing haiku, you start thinking in haiku, which is kind of cool. Well, it's 5 syllables and 7 syllables and 5 syllables. And I have 3 to share with you, all about the election. First. My death tears came then, when thousands first cast their hate, screaming, lock her up. She was called, oh. Now we really know why women are told to smile and blacks are shot on sight. And this is called Last. Our best real prayer for strength and the smarts and hope, immigrant kiddos.
Our first of our 2 features tonight is Nancy Flynn, and this is one of the 2 beautiful books that she has for sale here tonight. And I'm going to read to you her bio from the book to introduce her. Is it on the back? Oh, that's Kristin talking about.
That's Kristin Berger. Oh, here's one. It's in the like that.
You never know where they're going to put those things. I know it's kind of formal, but here's the thing. They embarrass all of us, right? Or they make us feel a little bit uncomfortable, but it's important to own what you've done, especially when the things that you've done are beautiful things that you worked your ass off on, right? So here we go. Nancy Flynn grew up on the Susquehanna River in northeastern Pennsylvania, spent many years on a downtown creek in Ithaca, New York, and now lives near the mighty Columbia in Portland, Oregon. She attended Oberlin College, Cornell University, and has an MA in English from SUNY Binghamton. Her writing has received an Oregon Literary Fellowship and the James Jones First Novel Fellowship. Poetry chapbooks include The Hours of Us and Eternities of Cole's Throw. Her full-length collection, Every Door Recklessly Ajar, was published in 2015, and we're happy to have her here at Ghost Town. Nancy Flynn.
I'm embarrassed to be from where I'm from because they were major turncoats for Yale, so I hope I don't cry.
Don't worry, honey, I'm from Michigan.
Oh, yeah.
We're to
Yeah,
blame.
we have an Indiana in the room. Yeah. Trifecta. Is this okay? Or should I stand right here? Thank you, Christopher and Toni, for the great work you do hosting this long-standing poetry series. Thanks also to Leah of Angst Gallery for offering this space up to poetry. It's great to be back at Ghost Town. I was here a bit ago in a more optimistic age. And to be sharing the stage with Kristin Berger. I love her poems, her love of poetry, and her generous spirit. Does this sound okay? Because it's sort of echoing in my ears. Okay. This has not been an easy couple of days. That's an understatement. Thank you all for coming out on this starry night. And what a glorious sunset I saw crossing over the river from where I live near Alberta Park. Because of the events, I revisited what I'm going to read tonight. I'm going to start with one from my collection, Every Door Recklessly Ajar, that was published last year, like Christopher said. This first one's a bit mournful, a bit wistful, more than a bit resigned, all of which feels appropriate to me given this week's turn of events. Meridian. Maybe you wanted to be the sun, be noon, stand on the threshold between ante and post. Maybe you resolved to straddle magnetic poles, mold latitude from every veil wrapped around your heart. How long before elastic knotted into a jungle of jump rope that snapped, then stung the legs? Later came the celestial, constant, every coordinate deemed scribble, then muck. Maybe you'd hoped for a tooth of recognition, a dermis of float, skein from salts. In the bath, one ellipsis inside a great circle symphony of winds or prepositions. A cut-off pinky, saintly relic, resurrected within the lines of longitude through St. Peter's holy, holy, holy in Rome. How long could you stand before the bulletproof blasphemy? One more sun marbled across his mother. Her gaze, window on your midday, your own lost count. The too many pulses past ante and post. On the threshold, your son dallying, meridian, crossing at noon. This next poem, begging to read it aloud tonight. It's based on a poem called The Gift Event from the Quilts Indians, and I found the original template in a book called Technicians of the Sacred, a range of poetries from Africa, America, Asia, Europe, and Oceania. As most of you probably know, the Quilts, along with other North American Indian peoples of the Northwest Coast, were well known for the potlatch, their opulent ceremonial feast at which possessions are given away or destroyed to display wealth or enhance prestige. And this one just appeared in the latest issue of Raven Chronicles out of Seattle. Gift event for our gilded age. Start by giving away afternoons hell-bent to win. Have everyone give everyone else a tell-it slant tattoo. Give away deviled eggs and devil may care and the slap-dashing vigor of just say yes. Give away a shore of graft and a grip of swank. Give away pocket constitutions, vice rings, rapture, and the Crayola color flag. Give away plums and surrender and veils, or pretend to do so. Pretend to be a flask of terrorized grace. Have the ladies pretend to be boom, have the lords pretend to be bust. Talk austerity or nothing. Make a narrow place at the entrance of each house and put a line at the end of it that all have to stoop under to get in. Hang the line with all sorts of switchblades and sickles to make a friendly clink. Give away loaded guns while saying things like, here is this loaded gun worth zilch and this one worth zip. Give everyone a new flame. Give that flame to a dead child, or think of nothing and go and get everything. Earlier this year, you can clap at the end. Earlier this year, the lovely Anchor and Plume Press of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, published my long poem, Great Hunger. What a sweet press. They're all about poems about place and landscape and home, and if you ever have anything of that ilk, I really love the editor, Amanda Mays. The poem is partly about the Irish potato famine, and partly about economic and political cruelty, and partly about other things that are unfortunately familiar to the down and out the world over. I was inspired to research this partly because my last name is Flynn, and after a visit to the Irish Hunger Memorial in New York City in 2003, the memorial was begun in March of 2001, and in spite of the September 11th attacks, it was completed and dedicated the following July. I'll read one short section. The memorial's blocks away from the World Trade Center site. This is called Potato Blight Diaspora. They were people from the wet, sharecroppers, seconds, all sinful disarray, bleaching out and disappearing, captive to the raw of tuber ruin, holy day riches absent of feast, unsteady, and never a madrigal inquired, please. Gone recollecting how scald hot once roasted the walls before desperate to flee met room. So many certainties disregarded, sloughed aside, stopped. Urgency, the force that finally rousted them out, barely time to extinguish a hearth, bundled and not belongings, measly and soil crumbed. Far too familiar with landless, wandering, betrayed, going, gone. Eons such hunger, devouring any sanctuary inside, inhabiting an appetite forever. Next is an ekphrastic poem. Oh, thank you. Also in this book, it's an ekphrastic poem, which weirdly is not in my online Oxford English dictionary, that word. It's a poem that describes another work of art, often visual. So this one's inspiration were photographs by someone named Diane Kornberg. They're photographs of kelp from the University of Washington's Marine Algae Collection, Herbarium, and they were at the Elizabeth Beach Gallery in Portland in 2005. It's evidence occurrence. Because a lampshade was once made of skin, because a banana peel became craved and fought for food, because the branch bearing a body-gone fruit shaded the Klieg lights underneath, because the pulp from inside got looted bargained, sold. Because a cord seeking a socket might mean electrocution, might mean a bath of yellowing death-washed flight. Because a kite might be all of these things in its lilt above dry sand, to measure currents, to trace a cemetery, to trace an alphabet of birth that reminds, oh good, oh holy sea and sky, maybe we prefer when the world is flatten, fold, increase. As if there is a deity who permitted all of this. As if all of us in ourselves, in our incurious march toward end, are forever atoning, if small. Does that mean I shouldn't taffeta a skirt, cinch it round my hips, tree my strands of hair to the dirt in a single benevolent braid? All I know is all I do not know. Can that be enough? Can dry land arrive and will decree to speak its blessing too? Sinkholes of carbon and humans are 7/10 H2O. Insects instead of angels dancing on the head of the many who were always on the way to or from the one. Flatten, fold, release. Two more, both fairly short. This next one is a freestyle sonnet with a very long title. It was published last week in the Politics of Poetry issue of a new online journal called Forage. I better put a stick before the title. We tried to have a picnic near the shockingly low Phillips Reservoir in the Wallowa-Whitman National Forest during the unprecedented summer 2015 Pacific Northwest heat wave. We chased the shade from table to tabletop, spend the day supine to stave off the scorch. The dry breeze carries a whiff, pine needle ponderosa, past my yoga corpse pose where I lie, then seize the sky entire. My brain has caught on fire. Below, a berm of fallen branch and duff, some fine, most rough, will one day fuel to fan a catastrophic rage. Our new age burning up. But first, more news of that day's death by gun. The last poem I'll read tonight is the last poem in this collection. The poem takes its name from the map projection system invented in the 16th century by the Flemish cartographer Gustavus Mercator. He forced the flat map of the world onto a cylinder so that all the parallels of latitude have the same length as the equator, a distortion that soon became adopted as convention. I wrote this in 2012 after George Zimmerman stood his so-called ground and murdered Trayvon Martin in Sanford, Florida. Tragically, I could have written too many more like it since then, and given the news from this past Tuesday, I suspect I will have the opportunity to write far too many more. Just a quick note about a couple of things in the poem. It makes reference to fresh kills, the Staten Island landfill, reopened after the September 11th attacks, and the Montgomery, Alabama Civil Rights Memorial designed by Maya Lim. I'm sorry, I'm really shaking up. Mercator projections. Cold snap with the new moon, this confluence where two rivers join. High tides, small change. I can't remember the last time coins jangled in my hand. So much gone. Those trips to the corner store, candy but a penny backed by a sheaf of wheat, and my bevy of childhood cohorts, one by one becoming shades. One moth trapped inside after my premature rush to air, and every window with no screens, this morning, lifeless in its touchdown on my desk. This is the map where I live now, pipe dream, memory, land. A
crow remembers the face of a dangerous human up to 2 years. The information passed by call. Far cry from Homo sapien. Whip a pistol. Strafe a package of Skittles with our own bloody hands. The almanac warns, who sows such wind will harvest storm. This is the map where we live now. Mistrust, fire, land. Gulls descend, ascending trash heaps of the overstocked, the sold as scrap. The mounds at Fresh Kills christened Holy Dump while the trucks delivered load after load, microscopic tissue, bone. One day, and they say all is changed, for the martyred carved into that black granite in Montgomery, nothing will ever change. Too long gathering the bodies, dog-toothed, flayed, filleted. That is the map where we live, still. Struggle, suffer, land. Thank you for listening, and thank you for caring about poetry in this sadly hardest time.
Nancy. The thing about coming together after something has happened that you have so many feelings about and so much emotion is that poetry lets you live it in your community. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for you. Thank you, Nancy. Before I read Kristin Berger's bio, I wanted to just be able to say to the group that it was my honor and privilege to work with these two women to put out the last physical copy or physical presence of Voice Catcher, which was Voice Catcher issue 6. And we worked on a team of 6 women to make that book come alive. And it was a real privilege and honor to work with both of you and to bring that to our community. So I want to first acknowledge that and thank you both for that experience. And I want to introduce all of you to Kristin Berger. She was born in Detroit, Michigan, raised in the surrounding suburbs and northern Michigan. She received her BA in creative writing from Western Michigan University and has lived in the Pacific Northwest since 1994. Oh, you can't possibly be that old. She is the author of a poetry chapbook for the willing, put out by Finishing Line Press in 2008, and co-edited Voice Catcher 6, Portland, Vancouver area women writers and artists in 2011 with me and with Nancy and a bunch of other really fabulous women. Kristin is the recipient of writer residencies as the H.J. Andrews Forest, Starkey Experimental Forest, and Range and Playa. Her work has been nominated for a Pushcart Prize and the Oregon Book Award, and she lives in Portland, Oregon, and has 2 absolutely beautiful children. I love them. Kristin? See if I can get through this.
Thank you. I know it. Can you hear me? Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Toni. Thank you, Angst, for hosting this month after month, year after year. And it is a testament that people come here for more than just poetry, you know. And while I was really looking forward to coming here before the election, man, I was really eager to come here tonight. To hear, I knew that I would hear what everyone needed to bring to each other. So thank you for your poems. And thank you, Nancy. I'm gonna begin with a poem that I didn't write, but one that I've been thinking about a lot, because I haven't written an election poem yet. I'm just not there. But this is by the Portland poet Scott Siegel. Some of you may know him. Gen Z. Under your watch, the Gordian knot of extraction and plunder comes undone. No drones, but hawks graze the pines. Under your watch, the city glimmers. Streetcars carry babies safely. Grandfathers teach Tai Chi. No bullets. Crops do not fail. People barter. No revolution finds us. We sleep safely without power. Under your watch, oceans stop rising. All passengers wing walk to safety. Children in every country know 5 languages. Under your watch, the water is clean again, the fish plentiful, and the rice cooked to perfection. I'm going to read a lot of different poems that I haven't read because I felt like this book is about light, how light reaches us, and it's a question I visit every single day. So I'm going to read some of those poems that I tend to go a little dark, but I'm going to try and go light. I'm going to go high. I'm going to try. One thing that's been keeping my head above water the last 2 days are my children. And while it's been incredibly painful to try to talk to them about this, I have a 13-year-old who's been following this election and is just devastated. But she has a really great community that's been helping her, her 7th grade class process, and by the end of the day decided to start an environmental organization, and it's a Waldorf school, so everything's knitted. And we're going to knit blankets to send the Standing Rock, and it's just, they can rebound so much quicker than us because they're so much younger. They have less history, which is almost their blessing. So I keep turning to them. This is about some other children called Summer Triangle. They were only boys exploring the French countryside. A dog, a rope, a tunnel updrafting into day like a lost river. Sweep of oil lantern light, and the walls of Lascaux ripple with bull muscle, cranes, and constellations, the undersides of time's standing wave. In the dark, fixed by palms against limestone, stars lived a quiet second life. And now, just under the skin of the river, currents hold the world's braids in a hypereic wash. A salmon fans her red with a tender urgency, while her lover waits in shadows between cairns, white-bellied and spent, ready to give over like the moon on its way to perigee. Tell me, lone wanderer, does your home country taste of hope? Do you have enough starlight to travel by? One season to the next, can you stumble gladly with no map? The scaffolding that is us at night. Along a dark city block, the burnt tug of fall overtakes breath. No warning when streetlights blaze or stop, or the sweep of an opened door spills warm music out. Small porches sidle up to houses like Golden's. Air circles and circles as if it has lost hold of a hand at a crossing, retracing spent kisses in the shadows. Through a drying scrim of oak, bulbs pitch a blue-white haze. Below, a litany of pairings dance, little disco eclipses, 1,000 collaborations between night and the world. We bend low in the grid, look up to trace the source before snow flies. I'm fascinated with light. I love this time of night. And I have a secret little fetish, or at least I did when I had a life. And I would go out and walk to my car. And I love looking at people's, not up really close, but I like looking at people's houses, like their windows. I'm like, look at light. Yeah. I never got caught. It just fascinates me how we're all really the same. We all just want to sit on the couch and have a light. Beginning to see. The kitchen hums with steam from pots ready to boil. The odd dance between laundered days under an antique sconce. The hope we polish when we remember old patterns. The beauty always a shard billowing above us. I'm going to read a lot of little poems, so you don't have to clap because I'm just going to go through them. But thank you for being here. Spur. Don't most girls dream of riding bareback? Nothing between them and the moonlit distance, but owls and the bark of old dogs. They keep their hair uncut and twitch in their sleep. Kiss tank. Well, I'm going to explain. I have a few landscape terms in this book, and I have a geeky little glossary in the back. Because I have to know definitions of things, and then I have to make you know them too. So, but a kiss tank is a depression in a rock where rainwater will gather, and often it's the only water around, especially in the desert, and it's what animals rely on and birds to drink from. Kiss tank. In June's arms, I could have lived. She cured those parched thoughts of boys who held yellow-rumped warblers stunned against windshields until hearts slowed in their rough palms. Boys who trade a kiss for a life. She knew those high, flat rocks where women ground seed from chaff, varnished small desert bowls cupping rain and the resuscitated moon, where she taught me to drink slowly, deeply, and often. And this is a term called coyote well, which is a spoiled well, that's what it's called, but coyotes actually have a knack for finding water in the desert, so they're just not understood, misunderstood names. Coyote well. Sister, come quick. All is not lost. The well has not spoiled. Seal mother's bucket with milk. Mix seed and sand and bone into the baked rose. Our ashed mouths already so full of pale muskmelon. Chink this bawling wind with rinds flung to the agitated skyline. Tie our aprons with blood wiped fresh from necks. Never again trust a man to paw at his sour dreams. We'll outlast this searing season, stay 2 steps ahead of weather and beast, circling our sweet, blind, bottomless hope. And I'm going to read a poem about a wolf. We all know about OR7, the journey, the wolf that traveled down from the Imnaha area of northeastern Oregon all the way to California, made headlines, came back and has a little pack, a second pack, I think, a second litter down in the Siskiyous. And he's recently been found out that he killed some sheep. But he's federally protected for now. And,
You must be a Democrat.
he's an independent. So this is about him, but it's from his mother's voice, who had a name, she had a number, I forget her number, but she had a name, it was Sophia. It's called Blaze, a love letter from a wolf mother. Overnight, the topographical map refuses to match. Washed out green swatches bleed unrecognizable down the range. I am not long after you, but snared between forks that force me north to the mighty river, a long lapping, its silted brew only a memory of land. My abandoned gate, my mouth slick with moth fat. The bowl of me hunts for a cool scrabble to den down in. I have only myself now to nuzzle. Rank miners' caves bristle with the rumor of cougars on the backward breeze. I slip between the fire lookout tower. The man senses my heat. A thin cloud with no strike, a restless evaporation. Listen, child. Hold your magnetic nerve to cross volcanic vertebrae and state lines. Trespass. Make them wince at your shadow. Spread unwelcome seeds riding your pelt. Lodge yourself. I will keep feasting on meat locked in river ice, that pale blue throat song. She is the patient echo at the edge of your sunrise. This is another landscape poem, Rift Valley, which is, what is it? I should think of my definition here. It's like a cliff in a fault line, and it creates, either because of separation or because of compression, a valley. And, and I think of everything that's happened over the last year and a half and how much it's divided us as a country and families. There's family members I have that I can't talk to. I have not talked to yet. It's just too painful. But I realize that in the end, when we look at geologic time, this is a blip. And we do have each other, and it is worth fixing those personal relationships. That's my wisdom of imparting to you tonight. Such as it is. Rift Valley. No, my dear, I don't remember the rift. Only being flush with each other. I still feel like an unbroken prairie, limber as grass in the hard wind. Our warm valley holds close a little pond of ducks and willows. Look, love, here comes that everlasting sun to spread its hot sheet on your depression. Wait, let me clip your gray curls back with the crescent moon. That's better. See, you're still beautiful. Let's release our faults to the stars. Let's retire here until time erodes us to our great-great-grandchildren's knees. I'm going to read one more. This has the answer to the question. 100% illuminated. When the sun strokes your window with its ever-striving and tips behind waxy laurels collecting dust, roses climb the wall like a search party. When light within balances dusk hovering over the patio and figs coming into their fullness swarm the air, you begin to call birds by name. When pains frame every misplaced thin fragment, blue water glide, midnight ice, child's hands on your chin, fog breath becomes summer's only cloud. How light reaches us, we will never know. Nightjars steer clear of weather vanes, make for the sea of open sky with the rumor of how whole you really are. Thank you.
hear it again for Kristin Berger. And Nancy Flynn. We're gonna have to get used to the clapping, they like to clap. So we're gonna have about a 15-minute break. Both Kristin and Nancy have books for sale, and of course you get something to eat or drink, get to know each other a little bit back, and we'll be back in about 15 minutes for more Ghost Town Poetry Open Mic.